That's okay, I hope so. My name is Joshua Stone. I've been through some pretty rough places, and I've been to some mountaintops, I've been to some valleys. I don't really want to, I don't want to give the devil no glory tonight. It all goes to Jesus. But in order for you to see how far that I've come, I have to paint a picture for you of where I used to be. So basically, my story kind of starts off like this. I was born in Richmond, Kentucky. It's a little bit below Lexington, where Roper Inn is. I was born in Richmond, and I had a pretty good household. Like a lot of people who've been through addiction, like they'll tell you how they've been through all these crazy traumatizing experiences. I was basically really spoiled. Like my mama gave me whatever I wanted. To this day, I can ask my mom something for Christmas, and she probably buy it for me. But I don't really do that these days. So basically, growing up, my parents, they had their bit of arguments and stuff. But like I said, I basically I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, but we wasn't broke either. I had anything I needed. I always had it. I never had to worry like what it was like to eat, to worry like what am I going to eat today. I never had to go through nothing like that. But so I'm growing up, and around the age of 9 or 10, I met Jesus for the first time in my life, and I was at a place called Poozy Ridge Baptist Church, and that was on the outskirts of Richmond, and Gilly Baptist Church in Poozy Ridge. And I was like 9 or 10 years old, and they were talking about, if you didn't give your life to Jesus, you were going to go to hell. So I got really scared, and I went up to the pastor and was like, especially like, I don't want to go to hell, man. So, he was like, well, do you believe in Jesus? And I was like, yeah, And in that moment, he started explaining to me what it meant to be a follower of Jesus. And I was pretty young and really understand repentance or anything like that. I just knew I didn't want to go to hell. So I gave my life to the Lord when I was 9 or 10 years old, and so I remember walking out of the church and I felt the Holy Spirit. I remember having overwhelming joy just all over me, and it was. I can look back and remember that's the first time that I felt God's presence. So fast forward a little bit, I started really seeking like attention from everybody else, right? Like I wanted people to think I was cool so bad. Like I just wanted to be cool, And so I went on a mission to try to be cool. My friends would talk me into doing stupid stuff like snorting Cheetos in the lunchroom, just dumb stuff, like just trying to obtain people's like acceptance. Like I just wanted people to like me so bad, and I did some pretty dumb stuff. And around the age of 11 or 12, I tried my first hit of marijuana, and I started smoking weed. I don't know, like other people, like they can do drugs or they can smoke weed or drink, and they're like, okay, well, we won't do this, no more. Like I loved it. I wanted to keep doing it. Like it just grabbed a hold of me, and I really fell into that crowd. I felt accepted by all this, I mean, you probably shouldn't be a stoner crowd when you're 11 or 12, but there was in my town. We had all kinds of little stoner dudes in middle school, and I felt accepted there. So I started hanging out with that kind of crowd, and I quickly fell away from what Jesus, like the feeling I got of Jesus when I was younger, like I put all that to the side and started seeking people's acceptance. And I pretty steadily smoked weed. Like from the first time I smoked it, I tried to get my hand. Anytime I chance I had to get my hands on it, I'd smoke it again. And I did that all the way up until I was 23 years old. Pretty big fast forward. But through middle school, I played football and stuff like that. And I had a pretty good little life, for real. I mean, my life wasn't falling out of control yet, But when I was 23 years old, I got into a relationship with a girl who was she was shooting at Percocet 30s, and I was in a really low spot in my life, and I got with this girl, and she introduced me to Percocet 30s, and I started doing those. And like me doing drugs was before, like I never seen an OC 80 or nothing like that. Like it was just heroin basically. So after I did Perc 30s for like 3 months, our dealer was like, I don't have 30s anymore, but I've got heroin, and I'll give you a pack for free. So I started doing heroin, and there was no more pills, couldn't find them anywhere. And every single day since I tried opiates, IV, I did it every single day of my life from that point forward, except for the times I was in jail or rehab. like it completely overtook me. Like, I mean, I was the kind of guy who, like, when I was younger, I'd ask people, man, you got a roach, man? Like, I was like a fiend for weed. You know, I should have knew better than to ever try heroin or anything like that. But, I mean, as soon as I got on pills, it took me over, and heroin took me over very quickly too. So I went through, I'd say I went through addiction about probably 9 years. So for the next 9 years, me and this girl I was with at the time, we started, you know, we started becoming like, I don't know, monsters, you could say. Like, she had kids and stuff, and like we would take, their Christmas presents and trade them for dope, anything we like. I mean, horrible stuff, man. You should never do. But like the drugs were so important to me that like I didn't care what I had to do to get my hands on them. I was going to get it done because there's not like being dope sick is not an option. It just wasn't an option for me. And so, I would say I got to the point to where I was in Richmond, and like I had a home, like I said, I had a good family and stuff, but I was in Richmond pretending to be homeless, flying a sign that said homeless, anything helps, God bless, standing on the side of the interstate sign, or the interstate off ramp, like 104 Athens exit, just standing there, like pretending to be homeless so I could get money for dope. And I'm not proud of this by no means, like obviously, but it started crippling me. I had friends who wanted to kick people's doors in, invite me, like, listen, I got a lick, let's go hit this lick, so and so's over here, they got a big bag of dope. I didn't want to do that. Like, I mean, I'm not above people who did, because if it hadn't happened to you, it just hasn't happened to you yet. But I found that panhandling route, and it was like, cops would come up to me and be like, you got to get out of here, and I'd take my pocket full of money and I'd go, no jail time. So, but people would send my mom and my brother pictures of me standing on the side of the road, like, what is Josh doing? Like, we know he's not homeless. Like, why is he standing on the side of the road? And they'd be like, he's on drugs again, So somewhere in the middle of my addiction, my family found out. They interventioned me, and they sent me. They wanted me to go to rehab, and I denied being on drugs all the way to the point that they was like, get the drug test, and I was like, that's fine. I'll take a drug test right now, and no, when I fail it, And then I peed in the cup, and then it was, dirty, and then it's like, well, I try to Percocet, There's still lying my whole way through. But so they sent me to rehab. I went to Georgetown Recovery Works, and then I was there for 7 days, and I left the facility with a friend. Went straight back to using dope. And then I went to a place called the Isaiah House. It's our facility. I was there for 30 days, completed the program, and they gave me a food stamp card, and I took it straight to my drug dealer's house when I got home, and I relapsed. And after that, I went back to addiction again, and I went back to the Isaiah House again. My family would corner me in again because they loved me so much. They didn't want me, they couldn't see me doing this to myself. So I'd be like, all right, I'll go again. And I went back for a 100-day program. And I was there 90 days, and I walked off, and I got high again. And then my mom had found out about Casey's Law. I knew about this the whole time, but I never told my mom about it because I didn't want to get Casey's Law, So she hit me for 365 days residential treatment at the Isaiah House. I had been there twice, and I didn't want to go back, but I had to now at this point because of the court order. So I was there for 7 days, and then after those 7 days, I got into an argument with the program director, and this is something I still don't agree with, him doing it or whatever. I really wouldn't put him on blast, but I guess I will. So like I had smuggled in a candy dip, or got it from another guy, and he was like, "You're gonna tell me who gave you that dip?" And I was like, "No, man." I was like, "I'm not gonna tell you who gave it to me. I'm sorry." And he was just like, "No, you're gonna have to tell me." And I was like, "That's what I'd do, man. I'd cuss at a client in a cross-based facility. That's how I would handle it." And he didn't like that at all. It made him more mad. So then he was like, "You're gonna have to tell me who gave you this dope, blah blah blah, or gave you this can of dip or whatever, blah blah." And I was like, "All right, man. Here's me not telling you." That really made him mad. He was really mad then. He's like, "Why don't you just go stick a needle in your arm and kill yourself?" So I picked up the dip off his table there, and I walked off the facility. And I made it back to Richmond, got a couple of rides, got back to Richmond. And I didn't think the cops were going to pick me up because I had never been, convicted. I haven't been caught doing any kind of crime or anything. I just got Casey Law. I was like calling their bluff, like, "You're not going to put me in jail." Cops came and they put me in jail. So I went to jail for the first time. Like I said, I've been very spoiled by a lot and stuff. And I went to jail, and they was like, I was like, where do you get water at? And they was like, you get it out the back of this toilet right here. And I was like, no. It's like, seriously, where do you get the water at? And they're like, you get it out the back of the toilet right here, the water fountain. So I was like, there's no way I'm drinking the water. But, I don't know. So I was in jail for 11 days. My mom found me another rehab called the Revive Life House. And I went there, and I was cased in that facility for 365 days. Learned a lot, had a lot of godly people, men pouring into me, and I learned a lot about Christ that year. I really did. None of these times I went to rehab and got out and relapsed. You know, none of it was wasted time. Like I learned stuff that now stick today, like seeds planted and grown now. But so I went to the Revive Life House 365 days. I've got like a limited amount of time, so I'm trying to skim through this. So 365 days. At the end of the 365 days, I had a bank account, and I got my Casey law fulfilled. The program director sent a completion letter to my lawyer, and then my gears started turning. Like, oh man, like I could get high, you know, like I could get high, nobody would, like I won't go to jail. So the devil got in my head pretty hard. You know, John 10:10 says in the Bible that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus comes to give life and give it in full abundance. You know. And the devil was trying to, or he didn't try, he just, you know, stole everything that I had learned, and I let him do it. And so I overdrafted my bank card, $1,200, went straight back to Richmond and got high again. And then they offered me a restart. They said, we'll let you restart the program. We'll give you 30 days phase 1, 30 days phase 2, 30 days phase 3, and you can get your certificate, graduate. But the problem was I had already tasted the heroin and the meth and all that I did. So I made it 5 days, and I was so much in my head, I just couldn't take it. I had to get high after having it again. You know? So I relapsed, went back home, family devastated. I put my family through a lot of crap, bless their hearts, you know. And so then after that, went back to addiction. My family courted me again. I went to a place called Andrews Mission for Men, which was in Western Kentucky. I went there for like let's say, I was there about 6 months. I got out of that program, and I got kicked out of that program for fraternizing with someone from the women's facility, and just distracted, focusing on all the wrong things, you know, trying to be in relationships and rehab, and like, you know, it's never a good idea. You need to learn how to love yourself first, you know, before you can love other people, or you know, have a strong love for God. And so I got kicked out of that program. I relapsed. Made my way back to Richmond again. Here I am again. Let's see. So I'm trying to see where else did I go. Before that, I went to Georgetown Recovery Works again. That didn't work. So I have been to rehab 11 total times. If you count the restarts, you know, start the program over because you got in trouble. Been to rehab 11 times, and you know, I'm at the lowest point in my life. I have a cousin. His name's Dude. His real name's David, but we all called him Dude. He's like the coolest fellow I ever knew in my life. Like, when my brothers would be like, get out of here, Josh, you can't hang out with us and our friends. My cousin Dude would be like, dude, you can hang out with me. So I hung out with Dude, man. He kind of took me under his wing. You know, we'd smoke together and stuff like that. I just felt like, you know, I don't know, I just felt like one of the guys when I was with him. And, but October 18th, like 3 or 4 years ago, he overdosed and died, and he lost his life. And the people that was around him, they dumped him. They moved his body and dumped it behind the BP gas station. And the entire family was devastated. We lost Dude. You know, he was the coolest dude in our family for real. And when he overdosed and died, like my whole life changed. Like I didn't learn how to, you know, quit doing drugs at that point, but I knew that I had to change my life for real because I just didn't want to. I don't know. I just didn't want to I didn't want to end up dead, you know. I ain't gonna say like him because it could have happened to me, but you know, I didn't want to end up dead, and I wanted to change my life. So I'm sitting at my mom's house. I mean, I'm miserable, broken. Like I got pictures, man. If I had them, I could pull them up. You'd be like, wow, like, you know, just in jail, like tweaked out in my mind. But so like I'm broken, the lowest point in my life, and I get a phone call from a guy I met at the Isaiah house. When I was at the Isaiah house, I made a friend. His name's Matt Kidd, and he's from around here. And he's my best friend. And besides like Jesus and my wife, like out of the guys, he's my best friend. That's a guy. And you know, So I get a phone call from him, and he's like, "Hey man, I don't know what you're doing or where you're at, but God just spoke to me audibly." And I was like, you know, most people talk about God speaking to them, it's like in their head or something, or a feeling they get, you know. But he was saying God spoke to him audibly, and I was like, "What'd he say? You know, like what'd he say to you?" And he was like, "Well, he told me to go get Josh Stein." So like, he's like, "I want to move you in with me and my family, and help you get your life together, start taking you to church again, and you know, move you out here to my holler." And I was like, "What's a holler?" And he was like, I didn't know what a holler was. And he was like, "Yeah, you gotta come out here." He's like, "God told me to come get you." So I was like, "All right, man, I got one question. What if I fail? What if you move in with your family, your wife, your kids? And, you know, what if I fail?" And he was like, "We'll figure it out." He's like, "You won't be rich no more, and we'll know what to do. We'll figure it out." And I was like, "Come get me, man. I'm ready. Let's go." Like, this was a path that I thought could work. It's rehab wasn't working for me. I tried it 11 times, you know, and it could have if I'd listened and paid attention. If I'd have been ready to give it up, like it would have worked for me, but I just wasn't ready. So I moved in with him. This is the Jesus side of the story, you know. So like addiction's over now. I'm living with him. I went to his house completely high. Like I got my last shot in, whatever you always do after you go to rehab. I mean, I did anyway. So I went to his house. I'm nodding out on his couch and everything. A couple of days go by, and you know, reality started sinking in. He let me bring a couple of Suboxones with me just so I could get through the worst detox, you know. So I did that, and it got me through. And he was like, "You know, you feel like you don't need Suboxone. One day you wake up, you don't need it anymore. Don't take it anymore." You know, and I only had 2 with me, so I had like a quarter every morning for like 6 months. And so, you know, I woke up on like the 7th day, and I was like, "I don't feel like I need Suboxone, man." I never took another drug again. To this day, I'm still clean. But so I started going to church at a place called Warehouse Church. That's what it's called now. It's a big blue warehouse on Water Gap Road. It used to be called Ridge Point. So I started going to church there, and you know, hanging out with my buddy Matt in his holler. It was like whole new, like a culture shock for me. I'm from the hood, you know, not from the hood, but like I'm from the city, you know what I mean? And just from like a whole mentality of like I wanted to be a thug, you know. Like growing up, I was a rapper. Like I started rapping when I was 11 years old, and that was my dream to be a gangster rapper, like for real. Like, and I put a lot of work into it. And so somewhere in the middle of being at Matt's house, his wife was like, "Why don't you start rapping for Jesus, man?" And I was like, "All right, you know, I'll try it out." So I started doing Christian rap music. And let me tell you, God blessed every second I've ever put into rapping for him. Within, like, he kept telling me, "I got this show coming up, man. I'm speaking at this event, and it's for my work, and they gave me 30 minutes to talk, and I'm only going to speak 25, and I'm going to bring you up there for the other 5. They don't know this. You're going to do a rap song, Christian rap song." So I started writing, pray like the Lord, you know, please give me the words to say in this rap song, you know, help it glorify you, amen type stuff. And he blessed it, man. So I did that show, and I made a song called Permanently Fixed, and it went very well. And my church paid $1,000 for me to go to the Mount Harp Center and record a Christian rap album. And so I did I was the first rapper ever recorded at the Mount Harp Center. Amen. That was really cool. Amen. That was really cool. And so like since then, like I just started seeking God, like, all right, God, you know, you wrestled me into submission, you brought me out here. I'm gonna give this thing my all, you know what I mean? Like I read my Bible. I started writing in a prayer journal, completely changed my life. If you don't write in a prayer journal, I suggest get a journal and start like, "Dear God, please be with my family today." Just start it out, you know, and it'll change your life. Like I could show you like one real quick, like on Christmas, Matt and his family was worried about how they was going to pay for the Christmas money for their kids. So I wrote my prayer journal, "Dear Lord, you know, I pray that you would bless Matt and Lauren with money for Christmas this year. You know, I hate to see them worrying about it and stressing about it." The very next day, there was a card wedged in the door with $500 in it from no name, like unattended. So I rang that man. I was like, "Dude, you're kidding me." I was like, "Look at my prayer journal. It says unexpected money for Matt and Lauren." Like, and we was like, "Whoa!" Like, God literally stuck $500 in the door. I mean, he probably made it, you know, had a person put it on someone's heart to do it, but I fully believe God did that. But, so today I've got 2 years and 7 months clean. And every bit of it is because of Jesus. Obviously none of this is me. My best thing can put a needle in my arm. My best thing can relapse the day I get out of rehab for a year. And then God kept on and kept on. Come on back, man. I'm right here waiting on you. And he sent my buddy, spoke audibly to a friend of mine, and brought me out here and completely changed my life. And I just want to give him all the glory, man. God is real. If you're wondering, maybe God's real, maybe he's not real, I don't really know. He's not really revealed himself real.
Where are you from?
I'm from Richmond.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But if you're wondering, if God's real or not, let me tell you, man, he is real. He is so real. I swear to you, everything in me, he's real. Ask him to reveal himself real to you. God, please show me that you're real. I don't believe you're real. Show me you're real. It's anything. And he will show you. That's what I do. And so, my advice will be cling to God with everything you have. The Bible says that, if you seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, that all these things will be added unto you. All these things. And my life is living proof of that. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I was going to show you all one of my rap songs.